Guys, welcome back to my channel. This is going to be my last grocery haul and meal prep video until I move into my new place with my partner. There will be a lot of moving vlogs, shopping vlogs, and redecorating. And then once I've settled it in, I will be doing more of the cash stuffing and personal finance videos as well. So today I'm going to run through everything I got, the pricing and the meal plan, and I'll probably add on some cooking clips at the end. So here I've got some chicken thighs from Aldi. They were $13 a kilo, so cheaper than your Coles and Woolies because they're selling it for about $14.50 a kilo. We grabbed some of these cloths from Aldi. I think it was 99 cents, but I'm not 100% sure. Grabbed some taro milk from my local Asian grocer. This was, I think, $9.80, a bit of a splurgy item, but I figured since we're moving, it's nice to have a bit of a sweet treat in the fridge ready to go on our little breaks. In between the moves, of course. Grabbed some oranges and mandarins, some snacks throughout the week. Cherry tomatoes, they were $10 a kilo. Garlic was $18 a kilo at my green grocer, that is. Coles and Woolies sell them for about $30 a kilo. The oranges were $1.50 a kilo at my green grocer as well. And I picked up this massive wombok cabbage for $3 at my green grocer. I figured that's good to have in the fridge because it lasts quite a while, and I like to add this in soup. So sometimes I'll feel like a little snack throughout the day, and I like to make soup with some egg and some veggies. These Muji mushrooms, I think that's what they're called. They were 3 for $4 at my green grocer. Again, I love to add these into stir fries or instant noodles or soups. Moving over here, this is actually from my freezer. This is the edamame beans that I got from Costco. I brought them out to show you guys because I need to use up some of the freezer items at my partner's place prior to the move. So I've got half a bag of frozen edamame beans. I'm probably going to steam them, then de-shell them, and then add the beans into stir fry. I've got a little brush and a window cleaner because obviously we're going to clean up my partner's apartment before we do the handover. And we got some wet wipes at Aldi. It was $120 for $3.80, I think, which is a lot cheaper than Coles and Woolies. And then we popped by Woolies to grab these rubber gloves because we forgot to get them at Aldi. They were $1.25 a packet, and I think each packet has 2 sets of gloves. The bocconcini, because we are going to make a salami pasta. The salami was tossed in the freezer from last week, but we ended up snacking on the bocconcini, so we've got another bucket here. That's going to be with, I think, a spaghetti that I'm going to make with some cherry tomatoes, salami, bocconcini, and I may use a little bit of tomato paste that I have in the freezer. We'll see. And the butter chicken sauce. I found this one jar in my stockpile, and seeing as in this video I'm going to go through the meal plan as well, I figured I'd bring it out to show you guys. This is the butter chicken sauce that I tend to use when they are on sale. So I buy 2 to 3 jars when they're half price. Kombucha, this is a bit of a treat again. This is $2.90 for a bottle, but that's again going to be one of the treats for when we move. We want something nice and refreshing in the fridge. Over here, we've got some straw mushrooms in the freezer, probably from 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to use this in the meal prep as well. Most likely going to chuck it in a stir fry. Over here, I've got this window spray, garbage bags. This is all cleanup products, guys. I think this is Jif, but the Audi version. Toilet paper, we only grabbed a 4-pack because we are moving, like I said. Once I've moved into the new property, guys, there will be a massive grocery stock-up haul. But my partner did grab another box of cereal here. You guys can see it was half price. And then at my local Asian grocer, I did see these seaweed packets, which was such a great deal. I believe it was $7 for 16. 2, 4, 6, 8, and it's in a double pack layer, so that's 16 little seaweed packets for $7. You can get an 8-pack at Woolies for $5, I believe, but it obviously does come in more flavors. But that's still a really good deal because I like to have that on the side with my meals. I might be having a stir fry with rice, and I like to add in a bit of crushed seaweed, or even just having that on its own as a snack as well. Sometimes I add the seaweed as a side with my ramen. But that pretty much wraps up the grocery haul, guys. I'm going to be making a Vietnamese inspired chicken stir fry with the mushrooms, the edamame beans. I'm practically just trying to use up all of the veggies I have in the freezer and the sauces as well. So I'm going to be mixing it with some garlic, oyster sauce, fish sauce, a bit of soya sauce. I'll film all of that cooking for you guys anyways. The butter chicken sauce, I'm going to add some, obviously, chicken thighs. I've got some frozen onions that I need to use up and some frozen green beans, which I want to toss into the butter chicken as well, just to bulk it up with veggies and to use up what I have. The butter chicken generally gets served on the side with some white rice. But that wraps up the grocery haul, guys. Stay tuned, the cooking clips are going to be next. Welcome to the cooking segment of the video, guys. Let's jump straight into it. So I've got some minced garlic. I've quartered some large cherry tomatoes. I've got some zucchini strips. In this second plate, I've got some salami strips and some more quartered cherry tomatoes. I've also got some bocconcini here as well. So to start, I've melted quite a generous amount of butter in there. I wait for it to bubble, then I add in my garlic and saute that a little bit before I add in the rest of the ingredients. Now I've separated some tomatoes in the first plate because I'm going to cook that through. The tomatoes are going to break down and turn into a sauce. And the cherry tomatoes on the plate with the salami, I'm going to add that on towards the end. So the cherry tomatoes on that plate hold its shape in the sauce. So as you guys can see here, I am adding in my little zucchini strips. The reason why I've cut it into strips is because my partner doesn't like zucchini, and because I'm cooking this with spaghetti, I figured it's easier to hide the little zucchini strips in with the spaghetti noodles. Now, as the zucchini softens, I start to add in my first plate of quartered cherry tomatoes. Generally, I don't cut them into quarters, but because these cherry tomatoes were so large, I decided to quarter them. So the sauce is pretty much done. I'm now adding in my salami strips and the rest of the cherry tomatoes. The salami strips add a really nice flavor and it releases a little bit of fat as well, which I want. And that's why I'm deciding to add it into the sauce rather than just adding cold salami. So as you can see here, I've pre-cooked my spaghetti noodles and I'm adding that into the sauce as well. So I'm just going to stir that around, let the sauce soak into the pasta. Then I'm going to plate it and add my bocconcini towards the end. If you want your bocconcini a little bit melted and a little bit warmed through, then you can add it into the pot. But I prefer it having its nice firm texture, so I prefer to add it cold. This next clip is a little bit of a snack. I'm trying to use up what I have in the freezer. So these are edamame beans that I got from Costco quite a while ago. So I've got some boiling salted water. Then I'm tossing in my edamame beans. And once they're cooked, I'm just popping them out of their shells into a bowl. And it's a super easy, tasty snack. You can also add these edamame beans once they've been de-shelled into stir fries as well if you like. So this next meal is part of meal prep. So I'm cooking my chicken thighs in my pot with no oil because it will release some of its own fats. I've just lightly seasoned it with salt. Once the fats are released, I add in my frozen onions to saute it. And then I also cut my chicken into bite-sized chunks. And then I add in some frozen green beans. I'm using these vegetables on hand because I'm trying to clear out my freezer before the move. So as you can see here, I've got this butter chicken sauce I got from my stockpile. I generally buy these jars when they are on sale for half price at Coles and Woolies. Sometimes I'll add in some carrots, onions, and frozen peas into my butter chicken curry as well. Nothing on my channel is authentic. I kind of just throw things together and use whatever I have at home. Now, often the jar has some sauce that's stuck to the bottom, so I do add in a little bit of water, shake up that jar, and then add the rest to the mix. I'll let this simmer for about 5 minutes, and this is generally served on some white steamed rice. This next meal prep is also a throw it together meal. So as you can see, I've got some chicken thighs. Same thing here, guys, no oil. The pot's a little crowded, but it is what it is. I'm just working with what I have. Once the chicken's half cooked, I cut it into chunks. Then I add in my onions from the freezer that I'm trying to use up. Saute that, add in my frozen straw mushrooms and my fresh muji mushrooms. Then I'm also going to add in some minced garlic and some frozen green onions that I'm trying to get rid of as well. Again, most of my meals this week are kind of just throwing things together to use up as much food as possible before my move. So sauce-wise, I've got some teriyaki glaze I had in the fridge that I'm going to use up as well. Then I'm adding in a little bit of fish sauce, and I believe I add in a bit of oyster sauce as well. which is evidently here in the clip. Now, I don't have exact measurements for the sauce. I kind of just throw things together, mix it up, and taste as I go. Now, at some point, I do realize this sauce is very loose. It's kind of looking like a soup to me. So I end up making a cornstarch slurry, which I'll share with you guys a little bit later on. But as you can see here, I'm just throwing in the last bits of frozen green beans that I had in the freezer. The cornstarch slurry kind of just helps thicken up the sauce. You can use potato starch as well if you like, but I only had cornstarch on hand. So as you can see here, I've just mixed it in with a little bit of tap water. I'm adding it in and I just continue to stir it, and then you will see that the sauce thickens quite nicely. If you want it a little bit thicker, then add a little bit more cornstarch. If you want it thinner, then don't do the cornstarch slurry. This is a type of meal that I generally serve on top of some white steamed rice as well. Nice, quick, simple, and easy dinners for the week.